Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of The Last Word. I am your host, TJ Chamberlain, and first things first, before we get started into the sports news, when this goes up for TV, our public station is moving on Comcast and only Comcast. We're going from Channel 9 to 1073. So if you are listening on Spotify and you see this on local TV, that is now where our public station is. That's the first thing. I forgot to throw that in last week. In regarding that the move happens starting tomorrow. Plug. Also, one of the few times I'm not doing the NFL games first. There are other news within the NFL I got to talk about. Luke, you could go back and find out what I said about John Harbaugh staying with Baltimore last week. What I was like, oh, he's gonna stay because him and Lamar is basically gonna be like a toxic relationship that doesn't work. He got fired 4 hours after I filmed that. I'm at home, I'm having dinner, I get the notification that Harbaugh gets fired. And I am like, right when I film it, hours earlier. So now, Baltimore has that head coaching job opening. And then, another domino fell about 48 hours later. When Harbaugh gets fired, a friend of mine who's a Dolphins fan calls me. He's like, so I see Harbaugh got fired. I'm like, I think McDaniel's getting fired now. He's like, I don't think McDaniel's getting fired. I'm like, give it 48 hours. I wake up Thursday morning, McDaniel fired. So now Baltimore and Miami, we have like 8 head coaching openings? This is the most I have seen in a while. For context, a fourth of the NFL has head coaching openings, which is wild. I actually want to look. Well, right now it's 8. However, there's probably going to be more. So this is just what I'm going to say. I'm going to look at the openings and who will get the position for that. We will begin with possibly the worst job out of the bunch. Cleveland. I mean, Cleveland's not a hot destination to go for a head coach. Andrew Berry's still there. The QB situation's been a mess. You have Shador. Watson still has another year on his contract. Also, there's not really much talent offensively. The defense is solid, though. So who do I think will be the Cleveland Browns head coach? I don't think they're going to hire a first-time head coach. I think they're going to not fire. They're going to hire their current defensive coordinator, Jim Schwartz. He has experience as an NFL head coach, and right now there's still a lot of young guys on that team. So you need an experienced guy to lead the ship, try to start leading it in the right direction. I think Jim Schwartz would be a decent hire. That's my guess. The Raiders. Of course, we don't know what's happening with Crosby, but offensively, you have the first overall pick, which is probably going to be Mendoza. You have Ashton Genty. You have Brock Bowers. You have some pieces on offense to work with. So, that being said, who do I think is going to get the Raiders head coaching job? This is a tough one, actually. But if I were to take a guess, I would say, I think I saw the Raiders interview Davis Webb. I think that's a real possibility. But I see also Cliff Kingsbury's been linked to that job. I think, honestly, Kingsbury could possibly be a head coach there, or he's going to go there as the offensive coordinator. I think Kingsbury will be an OC somewhere, at minimum. So we shall see. I will also say Stefanski's probably not in on this job. But what I will make my prediction for is... Yeah, I'm going to say Kingsbury. That's what I'm going to say. Arizona, I think it's going to be Vance Joseph. But also I could possibly see Jeff Hafley getting that job. Also, I know Mike McDaniel's been having some interviews. I don't think Arizona's been one of them. So there's that. Also, Clint Kubiak, I think, honestly, would be a solid get. Either one of those three. The Titans, I think they're going to hire Matt Nagy or Mike McCarthy. It's going to be an experienced head coach. So I don't think they're going to hire a first-time head coach there. Or, honestly, I think it would be... I don't think like a big name would be there. I think Hafley maybe would be in. But that might be it. Miami, John Harbaugh. They did not fire McDaniel for the sake of getting just a random head coach. I know that. Or especially with having the new GM, John Eric Sullivan, having the ties with Green Bay, maybe Jeff Hafley goes there. That might be their plan B. But we shall see. The Giants head coaching. I think Jeff Hafley is going to get a head coaching job. I know he's linked to here. But also, you know what? Want a guy with experience. Robert Saleh, maybe. I don't know if he'd want to be at MetLife again, so probably not. So could be him, could be Clint Kubiak, could be Vance Joseph. There's some options there. Atlanta, I'm going to say either Clint Kubiak, Mike McDaniel, or Kevin Stefanski. I think Stefanski should be the favorite to get this job. I will like that. And then maybe McDaniel as the OC. And then lastly, the Baltimore Ravens. I think Jesse Minter, the defensive coordinator from the Chargers, will get that job. I think it's between him, Brian Flores, Stefanski. I heard possibly Marcus Freeman might be in on this job, but I doubt he's going to leave Notre Dame. So realistically, I think it's going to be Clint Kubiak, Flores, Minter, Stefanski. I think it's a real possibility. Even Todd Monken could maybe get a promotion. If he gets a promotion, I could see him as a head coach. So those are a couple predictions of mine. Because again, look at the Jets are keeping Aaron Glenn. LaFleur staying in the Green Bay, even with the collapse this past week, which also now I should probably get to the games. First game with the Rams and Carolina. This honestly was a closer game than I thought it was going to be. It was back and forth until the end. And you know what? Carolina, good job. Good job. Right on you. I did not think they were going to be 8-9, make the playoffs, and take the Rams, who a couple weeks ago had a real possibility of getting the 1 seed, to the limit. And that's what they did. They took them to their limit. They're here playing with nothing to lose and everything to gain. And they almost beat the Rams. Dave Canales has turned that place around in 2 years. And he has done a fantastic job with it. So I'll give Carolina their flowers. I'll give them their flowers. I think, honestly, You make some moves in the offseason. You put yourself in a position to win the NFC South again, possibly in a spot to win 10, 11 games next year. So, no, you are now minus without your best tackle for all of next season because he tore his patella tendon, which is a big blow. Green Bay and Chicago. This game broke me. This game actually broke me. I was watching the rest of the game with my dad. I was out with people from the neighborhood. When we left, it was 21-6. We get home. It's 21-16. And I immediately am questioning, how did we get here? And then Caleb Williams throws a money ball to DJ Moore. And my reaction to that is, oh God, not again. I was getting flashbacks to 3 weeks ago when they blew a game to Chicago at Soldier Field after Romeo Doubs had a bad drop. Next drive, Romeo Doubs has a horrific drop. And my hands are in my face is in my hands. And I am like, no, this is not happening again. And then we have a chance to win the game. We win it if we don't have Brandon McManus as our kicker. 2 field goals missed and an extra point. That's 7 points. That's 7 points. We would have won by 3. We would have won by 3. But no, it doesn't matter. Different year, same exact thing. It doesn't matter if it is Brett Favre throwing an interception to Corey Webster in 2007, Michael Adams fumbling Aaron Rodgers in Arizona in 2009. Doesn't matter being 15-1 off a Super Bowl. Oh, we look like the favorites to win again. No. Lose to Eli Manning. 2012 and 2013, Kaepernick and the Harbaugh Niners. 2014, we have the NFC Championship in the bag. And Brandon Bosick, all you have to do is get the onside kick. No, you don't get it. Seattle goes on a run. And next thing you know, as I am praying for this game. I'm praying for the defense. Do something good. No. Game goes into overtime. Russell Wilson, 35-yarder to Jermaine Kearse. Seattle goes to Arizona, and they should have won that Super Bowl, but again, not run the ball at the 1-yard line. 2015, Arizona again. I do not know why, but whenever this team has a game in Arizona, we find a way to blow that game. 2016, Julio Jones has a monster game in the NFC Championship. 2017 and 18, don't make the playoffs. 2019, Raheem Mostert. Which, by the way, Raheem Mostert, that game, he had a career game. He had a career game that year. Not that year. He had a career game against us in the playoffs. Raheem Mostert, 220 and 4 touchdowns. 2020, we make it back to the NFC Championship, and we have a chance. Okay, we're keeping up with Brady and the Bucs. They have a loaded receiving core of AB, Godwin, and Mike Evans. And we don't let either one of them destroy us. We let Scotty Miller get a deep ball before the half because Kevin King is useless. 2021, Robbie Gould. 2022, Rodgers ends his time in Green Bay with an interception to Kirby Joseph. 2023 actually wasn't bad. 2024. 2024. No. We can't win against the Philadelphia Eagles. We can't beat them. And then Saturday, when the last time I have felt that gutted is 2015 when we were at Seattle. And I know that if we ended up playing Seattle, we were probably getting smoked. And I'm aware of that. However, that was a winnable game. And they let it slip. And LaFleur's still here. We lost 5 straight after we lost Micah Parsons. We lost our last 5 games, including Saturday. And Halfley's now probably gone to get a head coaching job. We don't have enough money to spend on free agency. We have McKinney. But we also have money tied up for guys that are often injured. Love's contract is going up even more. The Micah Parsons extension kicks in. Jordan Love is making I can't with this team at times. I can't with this team. This team is this team is the reason why whenever January hits and they're in it, I always get PTSD. Same thing every year. I can't with them. But not even the worst waste of talent. Not even the worst waste of talent because we had Parsons get injured. We have our entire defense just go down. Devontae Wyatt got injured. Elton Jenkins, we lost him on our offensive line. Tucker Kraft got injured halfway through the year. Jordan Love was battling with injuries. Malik Willis was dealing with injuries. We couldn't win a single game for the last month plus. We let Derrick Henry torch our defense in prime time. In prime time on Saturday, he had not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 touchdowns. He had 4 touchdowns against us. We win that game. Then I think we probably would not have the 6th seed. I think the 6th seed would still be, what was it, San Fran? I think it was San Fran, it was San Fran. And, of course, Detroit collapsed, and we somehow made it in because of that. Should we have made it in? Probably not. But that's the way the cookie crumbled, I guess. Sunday games, Buffalo won 27-24. Jacksonville also had another good year. From where it was last year, I'll give them their flowers. San Fran beat Philly. They're not going to fire Kevin Patullo because that team is just incompetent as all hell. Same with Sirianni. Patriots beat the Chargers. Jesse Minter's probably off to get a head coaching job now. Justin Herbert is one of the worst playoff QBs I've seen. But also C.J. Stroud might be worse, but at the same time, he's won more playoff games in his, 3 years in the league than Herbert has in 7. They beat the Steelers last night. Rodgers is probably going to retire, and his last throw might have been a pick 6, which, of course, is on brand. Basketball news, Trae Young got traded for nothing. It was C.J. McCollum and Corey Kispert. That's all it took for him. I get Trae Young has had a down year, but you could not get a single first-round pick. When John Moran, who's probably going to get traded before the deadline, he's probably going to get at least 1 first. You couldn't even get a pick. It was just Kispert and McCollum to make the money work. And yes, you now have money for the offseason. But what are you going to do? Atlanta's not a destination that free agents want to go to. It's not worth it. There's that. And John Morant, I don't know what's happened with John Morant. Honestly, if I'm a contending team, I want no part of Ja. And I was getting some flack about this in the one basketball league I'm in. I put in the group chat, I do not want Dak Hanser anywhere near a team that I support. No. Do not send him to the Celtics. Do not send him to the Raptors. If anything, just have him stay there. People are like, what's the Ja market going to be like? There is no market on Ja. he is a cancer off the court, and if a contender trades for him, he will kill their season. It is not worth it. Now we do the standings. Detroit still ahead over the Knicks, Celtics, Raptors, 76ers, and Magic. That's the non-playing teams. 7 through 10 is Cleveland, Miami, Atlanta, and the Bulls. Bucks still on the outside looking in. Then we have the Hornets, Nets, Wizards, and Pacers. Western Conference, the normal, just the normal people, 1 through 6, OKC, San Antonio, Denver, Wolves, Lakers, and Suns. Then we have the Rockets, Warriors, Blazers, and Grizzlies. Then we have the Clippers, Mavs, Jazz, Kings, and Pelicans. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Baseball news, Alex Bregman went to the Cubs on a 5-year deal, big money, and Ryan Stanek went to the Cardinals. Hockey-wise, Philip Broberg got a 6-year extension, well-deserved. He's been playing pretty good. And Columbus fired Dean Everson and brought Rick Bowness out of retirement. What? Rick Bowness is back coaching in the NHL. I was not expecting that news, but sure, I guess. Now we go back to standings. Detroit still leads the Atlantic Division. Then we have the Lightning, Canadiens, Toronto, which, by the way, Toronto's in the playoffs as of now for the first time in a while. I think at all this season. They've been on a pretty good last 10-game stretch. I think they're 8-0-2. They've scored points in their last 10 games, which has helped tremendously. Then we have Buffalo, Boston, the Panthers, and the Senators. Carolina leads the Metro over the Islanders, Flyers, Washington, Penguins, Devils, Rangers, and Blue Jackets. Western Conference, Colorado, still with the big lead over Dallas, Minnesota, Utah, Nashville, Chicago, St. Louis, and Winnipeg. Pacific Division, we have Vegas, Edmonton, Seattle, San Jose, LA, Anaheim, and then the other 2 Canada teams known as Calgary and Vancouver. Racing news. So we have some news in the Truck Series. Jimmy Johnson's going to be running the race at San Diego in June. Tony Stewart's going to be running for Kaulig Racing at Daytona. And also, big news for NASCAR as a whole. The playoffs are dead, baby. We have the chase returning. Praise the Lord. We have actual racing that matters. Praise the racing gods. About time. About time. I might actually watch a full season now. By the way, for those who don't know, I have not watched a full NASCAR season since 2013. As soon as they introduced the playoffs, it's like, oh yeah, consistency does not matter anymore. Plus also winning in. Nope. Bye. I've watched every IndyCar season since then. Because consistency matters there. Now, consistency matters again in NASCAR, and also no winning in for the playoffs. Wins are now at 55, which, by the way, you can now get 70. I think it was 75 or 76 points per race. I like it. I like it. The only thing I will say is, I don't know about 16 drivers. If it was like 10 or 12, sure. That's all right, I guess. There's that. Hold on. I know what I was missing. I completely forgot the rest of the football stuff because I was in my feelings about Green Bay. Gabe Davis tore his ACL. Kittle tore his Achilles. Bryce Young's having his 5th-year option picked up. I mentioned McDaniels fired by Indy. John Morton got fired by the Lions after only being their OC for 1 year. Also, the Bucs fired their OC after 1 year, which, again, why does Todd Bowles still have a job? Literally, the entire staff got fired besides him. Matt Ryan's joining the Falcons front office. TJ Edwards fractures fibula as well. Oh, and also the college football playoffs is Indiana and Miami in the national championship. Indiana's winning the national championship. Mendoza's winning a natty. And Cignetti's getting a championship because he is a dog and is a national treasure that needs to be protected at all cost. And Oh, wait, yeah, I didn't even do the preview for the divisional games. Yeah. A divisional round. Saturday games, Buffalo and Denver. Buffalo's winning. San Fran and Seattle. San Fran's winning. Patriots play at at 3 o'clock on a Sunday, which honestly, again, better than 8 o'clock. Patriots will win. And then the last game with the Rams and the Bears. You know what? I'd say the Rams win. And with that being said, that's all for this week. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. This is TJ signing off. I will see you all next week. Peace.